Rental advocates are calling on the German government to rein in temporary, expensive and furnished apartments.
Hop picking season has kicked off in the Czech Republic, with many farmers joining in. President Volodymyr Zelensky acknowledges Russia's advancement and emphasizes the importance for Ukraine's allies to fulfill their obligation with munition supplies.
Дуже важливо, щоб партнери реально виконували зобов'язання по кожному пакету, по всім нашим домовленостям. Це фундаментально для оборони.
One person died and at least 16 people were injured after 24 settlements of the Kherson region came under Russian fire. And in Pokrovsk, Ukrainian forces defend the city from Russian troops who are quickly advancing towards the logistical hub. The defeat of Pokrovsk, which is one of Ukraine's main defensive strongholds, would bring Russia closer to its stated aim of capturing the Donetsk region. The Ukrainian president says he also hopes to see advancement in the plan to loan Ukraine the promised $50 billion from frozen Russian assets. Earlier this year, 27 EU member states agreed to use the interest earned on Russian central bank assets to help support Ukraine.
Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is in Poland to meet Prime Minister Donald Tusk and President Andrzej Duda, the first visit of an Indian Prime Minister to Warsaw in 11 years. The two countries signed an agreement to facilitate the mobility of specialized workers. The Russia-Ukraine war was also at the core of the talks, as the Indian leader called for a peaceful resolution.
यूक्रेन और पश्चिम एशिया में चल रहे संघर्ष हम सभी के लिए गहरी चिंता का विषय है। भारत का यह दृढ़ विश्वास है कि किसी भी समस्या का समाधान रणभूमि में नहीं हो सकता। किसी भी संकट में
Modi, however, faced criticism for stopping short of condemning Russia's full-scale invasion. Last month, he traveled to Russia, where he met and hugged President Vladimir Putin. Ukraine's President Zelensky defined it a devastating blow to peace efforts. Modi will try to ease tensions when he travels to Kyiv on Friday to meet the Ukrainian leader.
Every day, the number of graves in the park next to the Calvary Cemetery in Uzhhorod, western Ukraine, grows. This place has become the memorial site for recent fallen fighters of Transcarpathia. Roughly 70,000 Ukrainian soldiers have died since Russia's 2022 invasion of Ukraine, according to US estimates.
A 43 éves Igort mindössze 10 nappal ezelőtt temették el itt az ungvári katonatemetőben. Sírján még mindig halomban állnak az elszáradt koszorúk. Az utóbbi időszakban szinte minden napra jutott egy gyászszertartás, a bujdosó katonaköteles férfiaknak pedig egyetlen bűnük van, hogy nem szeretnének ide kerülni.
Some Hungarian men in Transcarpathia went home to escape Ukraine's military drafts. Others did not. Two Hungarian-Ukrainian men hiding in western Ukraine spoke to Euronews about how dodging the conscription has impacted them.
Hát, amikor lehet, megyünk. Ha nem lehet, akkor otthon maradunk.
Honnan tudjátok, hogy nem lehet?
Hát azért igyekszünk egymást értesíteni. Bármilyen móddal. Akár egy telefon, vagy írunk egy üzenetet, hogy merre van útlezárás.
While thousands share information online of how to escape the clutches of recruitment officers, another man has a different technique.
Hát jön a feleségem előttem, kocsival. Nézi, ne legyen sehol a rendőrség, vagy a katonaság, de általában a katonaság az a rendőrökkel van. Így kerülünk a munkába.
És ha lát?
Hát akkor meg megyünk, amerre a két szemünk lát. Úgy mondom, hogy van. Neki a bokrosnak, vagy ki merre elkerülni.
One local says he has heard stories in Uzhhorod of bribes to avoid the front lines getting more expensive.
Azt mondta, hogy Őt 800 euróra elengedték. Tovább kijött a kapun, azt mondták, mint tovább, de a kapun se engedték. No, de van, aki 5000-et fizetett.
According to the Centre for European Policy Analysis, Kyiv needs hundreds of thousands of more soldiers to defeat Russia's army.
The body of UK billionaire Mike Lynch has been recovered and brought back to land following the sinking of his vessel in Sicilian waters. 5 people have been confirmed dead in the incident. 1 person is still missing. 15 survived. They were rescued by a nearby sailboat. The 56-meter-long boat sank in the early hours of Monday morning during a violent storm as it was moored about a kilometer off the coast of the town of Porticello. Civil protection officials said they believe the ship was struck by a tornado over the water known as waterspout. But questions remain open as to how such a large yacht, the Basian, sank in a matter of minutes. On Wednesday, Italian authorities quizzed the boat's captain, James Catfield, for over 2 hours, trying to find out more.
The European Commission is mobilizing support for Portugal as it battles a wildfire near Ribeira Brava, Madeira. The spokesperson for the EU Commission, Balajuvar, said that after Portugal activated the EU Civil Protection Mechanism, the EU provided 2 firefighter jets and implemented additional measures.
Now, at the request of Portugal last week, we also activated what we call the Copernicus satellite system, which has allowed us to provide Portugal with a significant number of satellite images. The Commission will, of course, continue to observe the situation on the ground, and we are ready to mobilize additional assistance if needed.
In anticipation of this year's fire season, the bloc has strengthened its rescue and European civil protection pool capabilities. The EU's response now includes 28 airplanes and 4 helicopters from 10 member states. Additionally, over 560 firefighters from 12 countries have been deployed across Europe, ready to help local fire brigades.
Like many Berliners, Jim Burghauser is on the lookout for a new apartment. Living on the outskirts of the city means he's traveling an hour and a half to get to his university.
For me, it's more that this living arrangement I have now is so far away from everything, and this also makes people kind of lonely, because if you always need a lot of time to get somewhere, you don't go somewhere that often, and also to university, and so much time I lose every day.
Berlin's tenant association says one of the factors making it more difficult to find a long-term home is the amount of temporary furnished apartments on offer that aren't rent-controlled. Rent prices in Germany aren't allowed to be higher than 10% of the average rent per square meter in an area, but there are exceptions. One of them is if the apartment is for temporary use, plus owners are allowed to charge extra if it's furnished. The association says these apartments can be 5 times higher than the usual rent prices, and they're taking away supply from people who are looking for unlimited contracts that are rent-controlled. The association is calling on the Ministry of Justice, led by the pro-business Free Democratic Party, to strengthen tenancy laws. The association wants owners to be required to show how much the furniture is worth and how much the apartment itself is being charged for, arguing this will eventually decrease exorbitant prices. But the Justice Ministry doesn't want to change the law.
It seems that the FDP, the Free Democratic Party, is only in favor of the landlords and doesn't do anything in terms of the tenants. They not do anything on changes that would regulate the market.
The Justice Ministry told Euronews that it does not see the need to change the law when it comes to furnished accommodation. It says that the construction of new apartments will help fight rising rents in the long term. The FDP parliamentary group says that instead of regulations, the focus should be on building more quickly and cheaply. But rising costs and high inflation has led to a crisis in home building. Germany has one of the highest portions of renters versus owners in Europe. But it's not the only one battling short-term rentals. Spain said that it would investigate websites like Airbnb to check that accommodations have licenses for tourism. As for Jim, he says he's gotten cynical about finding an apartment after searching for a year and a half.
You always have this rush of energy. If you see an apartment you want, you get in contact, you know they got your message, you got a chance, and you're happy for a moment, and you got your hopes up, and then in 99% of the cases the next day or even a few minutes later or sometimes weeks later you get no, basically.
The construction minister says the government will present a strategy for people to move to the countryside to deal with the housing shortage.
Beer lovers rejoice. The 2-week hop picking season has kicked off in Czech Republic. It is one of the world's largest hop producers, with over half of its harvest destined for export, mostly to China and Japan.
60 až 80% českého chmele jde do zahraničí na vývoz a jsou to právě ty jemné aromatické chmele.
While there has been a reduction in beer production since COVID, there has been a rise in demand for premium beers with higher hop content. Czech Republic currently has around 5,000 hectares of hop farms, which is 6 hectares less than last year. The Agricultural Ministry counts about 120 registered growers this year. With the earliest record of its cultivation in the 11th century, hop is one of the Czech Republic's most traditional and successful crops.